Hey guys, Analog Man here again. Back with another deck profile, this time on my third place Three Musketeers deck. Um, the deck was pretty good. I've been actually tweaking it a bit. As I mentioned in a previous vlog I posted recently, um, there was some spicy text I actually put into the deck that honestly I feel like helped me win my mirror match because mirror matches between this deck and itself is a tough play. Okay, it's essentially who can set up first in trash, and if you don't set up before then and you're not controlling the board, you basically are just gonna have a tough time. Me and my friend who play Three Musketeers in our locals, um, every time we play each other, it's just honestly, it's a back and forth. It's just we just keep playing Beal Stars back and forth, recovering Beal Stars and just popping our fields back and forth, and then it's just whoever essentially has the better move by like I think the final like hit basically, because by that point we will have like milled out most of our deck, and uh, one of my spicy techs actually managed to get me the game honestly. So hoping that it continues to be like that, honestly. But yeah, like you'll see. Let's actually get into the deck profile real quick then. Okay, put it over here. So first off, for the babies, we of course are running the standard for purple, for Demi Marimons because Demi Marimon, deletion, draw one, always really good in this deck to help mill out your hand, especially if you open hands like me, where I open almost all options in like one rookie that essentially helps me set up the board. Um, I run a specific rookie in this deck that actually, honestly, I feel like it's a very sleeper card. That I've only seen a few musket profiles playing. People usually double up on Impmon and just kind of like run like 8 copies, but it's like I feel like you should run this one specifically because it just helps so much to unbricking your hand. But yeah, Demi Miramon standard, 4 of her, and then the one Sunomon. Sunomon doesn't really come up really that often. I actually had originally 3 Sunomon and 2 Demimera, but I feel like this actually helped make the deck more consistent. So I put this down to 1, and honestly, it feels really good. Sometimes you do want the trashing, but then sometimes you don't. So I honestly like it more at 1 than 3, because 3 it just felt like I had to essentially get that specific rookie, while this one it's like I get both. So I honestly liked it. Anyway, that's all for the babies. Let's put these aside. Let's put them here, actually, right where the babies are. For rookies, we run the spice that I honestly love, for Soundbirdmon. Um, as I said, not that many builds are running this, which weirds me the hell out because I remember seeing this originally in a video a few months ago, and I thought it was just absolutely broken with purple because it just I don't know it's just how it works. Where was it on when attacking, you may trash one option card in your hand to gain 1 memory. So you basically have Demi Mirror swing, discard a 7, and then you just plus off of that and you get another draw and a discard. So you're already setting up before your opponent, especially if it's a mirror match. This is an absolute 4 of like must. Like honestly, I don't get why some decks aren't running this. Some are starting to. I'm not saying that all decks aren't running it yet, but I've seen only a few that are running it, while the rest are kind of slow behind to get on this because this card is really fire, honestly. The next rookie we run, of course, is the boy himself, Impmon, the original BT2 one. Um, Pretty standard, on deletion, trash, top 3 cards, helps you mill out your deck, set up more cards for Beal Star to reduce your costs, essentially. Um, and it's just a really cool. I mean, like obviously it's gonna die. It has like 1,000 attacks, so no matter what, you're gonna get that mill. Sometimes there are very rare instances where this whiffs, but most of the time you're assured the trash, and this card's just really good setup. Um, then we have 3 of the new Impmon. This one actually, I feel like it's actually also a sleeper card because sometimes like people think, oh, it's not that great. it's really nice because on play you may trash one card in your hand, and if you do, you can return one with 7 great demon lords or 3 musketeers in its type. So basically, you can just get back Beelstar or like Bellsmon if you're running it in the build. Really solid card. I kind of want to run one more, but it's just like it's kind of like that backup option. Like I actually won one of my matches in round one because of this. It was just like I had like three. He like my opponent gave me 3 memory, and I just hard play this, and then I got back Beelstar, and by that point I had already milled out most of my deck, so I basically could play her for 0 cost, and that honestly I feel like won me the game. So really nice card. I feel like you can do 3 or 4. I have him at 3 for now. If I don't see him as often in the future, like I might bump him up. But for now, I see him often enough that, to the point where I can at least play him. So 3 is pretty good for now. And then for the last rookies, we have 2 Gazis because a lot of decks are using the new memory boost. Not the ones from the starter deck, but the ones from BT6, like the box set. So this is good to kind of stop them from gaining memory, especially from like Soundbirdmon. If they're running Soundbirdmon like I am, this hard stops them, so it's pretty decent. Anyway, that's all for the rookies. Let's move on to level fours. We run very few in this deck because muskets already have a way to essentially cheat past level 5, and that's this guy right here, Deputymon. Deputymon's really solid because on play he reveals the top 4 cards, and then you can add one Digimon card with 3 musketeers in its type, and or one option card with a memory cost of 7 among them to your hand, and then the rest he trashes. So essentially, you're just gonna get set up and then mill the stuff that you need for your trash. The cool thing though is that on your turn he can actually digivolve into any 3 musketeer card, and in most cases mainly Beelstar and Gundramon, but most of the time Gundramon for 6 cost. But it's cool because when you evolve onto Gundramon, you get to mill your deck even more, and you get to play an option. So this guy is an absolute must, like 4 of in the deck. So don't skimp out on him. He is really good. Um, okay, and then for the last of the level fours, literally we only run 2 level 4s, but we run max of them. I run 4 Devimons. Actually, no, my bad. There's still one more actually, but we run 4 of Devimon. I've seen builds kind of run 2 and then 2 Mechanori, but I like having 4 because with this, it's like this can be continuously revived with Nailbone, and the fact that it's 1 cost. So sometimes you want to maybe get one more card in rate by evolving on your rookie. So this is also very nice because that 1 cost is really solid. So to correct myself, the actual last um, level 4 is Ginkaku Promote. This guy doesn't always come up, but he comes up in really clutch matches. I actually honestly won my match today specifically because of him, because I nailboned and then just kind of summoned him out and swung for game. He has a built-in rush ability, so having him and then nailboning with Beelstar can usually win you the game. But 1 copy is good. I've tried out 2 or 3, but it honestly kind of bricks it. So I would say just run 1 and you're good. So that's all for level 4s. We only run 2 level 5s in this deck, and that is Rebellymon. Rebellymon, for those who don't know, when you digivolve into him, you can trash a card to give him blocker and retaliation, and then all turns he's treated as black. So the cool thing is that with this, you can run spicy black blocker techs essentially to help beat mirror matches essentially. Surprisingly, in my match today, I didn't really see him that often. I honestly milled him more than I saw him, but he's really nice to have just as that way to kind of like cheat out a black level 6 blocker to stop like a mirror match. So it's pretty solid. That's all for level 5s, literally. And then for starting with level 6s, we'll start with 1 Beelsmon. Beelsmon is just kind of there as like an insurance policy. You don't honestly use his ability as much, but it's good having him there because I've actually won a match because of him popping something. So I just like keeping 1 in the deck just as a way to get that final hit. And then for the other level 6, we have 3 Gundramons. I tried running 4, it was really bricky, so I reduced it down to 3. For those who don't know what this guy does, when you evolve, you can reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can use any 7 cost option you see in those 5 cards you just showed. The best part, though, is that if you don't use anything, you still get to pop something by deleting one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So you're essentially guaranteed a really low level 4 or possibly a rookie. So you're at least getting stuff off the board, but at the same time, he's also a blocker, so that's really solid. So I honestly like 3. I tried 4, and there were multiple matches. Actually, where me and my friend actually did run 4 about a week ago. It bricked a lot. So well, I don't know about his build, but I reduced mine to 3 because I just didn't want to always see him, but see him enough. So that's pretty solid for now. Um, then here's the spicy tech that I was talking about earlier. The level 6 Black Blocker I run. I run 2 Cranias. This card, for those who do not know, is a blocker, but his ability is that on all turns, your Digimon with blocker cannot be deleted by your opponent's effects. So this guy essentially hard stops any Musketeer deck. So having this deck against a mirror match is crucial because they basically cannot get past this blocker with a Beelstar. Essentially, the only way that I've seen that they've been able to get rid of this is through specifically evolving a Millenniummon to bottom deck this. But at the same time, they're giving you 6 memory, so you're going to plus off that no matter what, and you're forcing them to overextend with this guy, which is amazing. And with Rebellion counting as a black, this card is way easier to get out now. So really solid card. Some builds I've seen running maybe 3 of these. I like 2. 2 is really solid number. You'll see it, but you won't like brick into it, so it's not too bad. Then for the actual like star of the deck, we have 4 copies of Beelstarmon. These are basically like the universal copies I use that I share between this and my security control deck. But yeah, you have to max out on her because of how OP her ability is, reducing her cost for every 7 cost option and Musketeer in your graveyard. So, by calculation, I've actually been able to play this card for 0 cost in a match. So, really solid card, helps you just wipe the board. You can even evolve a level 7 on it, which I'm about to show you. Must have awesome cards, solid. Basically, the deck would literally not exist without her. So, yeah. For level 7s, we run 2 Millenniummons. Before, most decks did run only 1 copy, but I switched it up to 2, and honestly, I'm loving having 2. I do kind of miss using Zwart to swarm the board more, but honestly, I'd rather have more control than swarming because I'd rather get rid of anything that can stop me from doing anything before I start plussing. Um, this card is just really broken because even if they delete this, it just comes back because of its ability. If it gets deleted, it just auto summons itself without paying any cost. So next turn, you still have a gigantic level 7, like 13,000 body no matter what. And and most of the time, if you're playing a mirror match, your opponent will overextend and give you more memory while you have a Beelstar on the board. So you could just evolve and just give them like exactly 3 and just kind of you would like essentially you just plus off that no matter what. So it's pretty solid. Um, and then for the last level 7, I run just one Zwart, honestly. I like seeing him, but I don't like bricking into him, and I honestly would rather see Millennium on at this point because I get to plus off this and get to swarm the board, but if they still have a Beelstarmon, they're gonna hit me with something hard. So I don't really prefer having him. Like his deletion, his deleting effect, or his when attacking. I mean specifically, sorry, his when attacking is only when he's attacking. So I don't really like just evolving on top of this and just hoping that they don't pop my board. I like having something more permanent like this where it can like float essentially. So having this at 1 honestly isn't too bad. That's literally all the Digimon we run. The rest is just options. So actually, let's get into the options then. Let's actually move the rest of these guys aside first because we're basically done with them. So for options, we run two glaive memory boosts because this helps us recover Beelstar or any rookie or anything essentially in this deck that we need to get aside from Crania. And then of course it has a delay, so you gain 2 memory on next turn by trashing it. So really solid card. We run 2 nail, or actually my bad, 3 nail bones, because you just want to swarm the board later on and just kill your opponent for game. I actually haven't really used this as much, honestly, in this current build. I use it to bring back a blocker and a rookie, and that's usually about it. I don't actually spam it repeatedly. I'm actually using Beelstar more for just removing everything on their side of the board now. So honestly, like I kind of want to bump this down to 2, but I don't know, maybe just keeping it in is fine for now. I also run two Trump Swords. Honestly would run a third and put this down to 2, but I don't have a third, so I'm just gonna keep these ratios for now. I also run 2 Fly Bullets because this card is super annoying if they run into security and this hits them. It just kind of pops their other attacker, and you can just kind of survive until the next turn and just come back strong. So always good to have 2. I'm running also 2 Happy Bullet Shower because you never know when you um, might need to pop their board essentially. And then finally, for the last 7 option, we won the new black removal card, Gewalt Schwarmer. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that German wrong. I'm not a native German speaker, so I'm just going by how I would phonetically speak it. But this card is really dumb. It's dummy thick essentially sometimes. Even it's just adding to your hand, you just play it off of Beelstar and you just wipe their board. So it's really amazing. And then for the last card actually of this deck, we run 1 mat because this deck does not really care about memory. It's great if you have memory, but it's not dependent on it, thankfully. So it's kind of like a faster. Actually, no, like honestly, I feel like it's kind of like green where it can just plus off of like 1 memory. Honestly, I've had um, matches where I just plus super hard no matter what, even at like 2 memories. So I honestly, this deck is really crazy. That's literally the deck. But honestly, matchups against mirrors, I have techs against mirrors. As I said, I have the Crania, and that honestly won me the game. And it depends on how your luck is and how you play. So there's also that. Against other decks, Jesmon, it's a rough match. You have to set up way faster to them, which is really hard. Like you have to hope to God that the Jesmon player you're playing bricks really hard to the point where they can't even make Jesmon at least for 5 turns. If not, it's just an loss for you no matter what. Honestly, I haven't found a way aside from Rebellimon, with his retaliation. That's literally the only way I've been able to stop Jesmon. Aside from that, not really much. Well, actually, no. If you make Cranian do that, it's also pretty good too. Um, Gabubond, I haven't really fought against Gabubond, but I would think it would be probably just as fast as Jesmon. Just it would just depend on if they bricked. If they brick, you can potentially set up before them and essentially block all their attacks. Um, against let's see, against security control, it's rough, but it's more manageable, I feel, compared to Jesmon. Security control, they can pop your board as much as they want, but you just recover it nonstop. So no matter what, you will swing through eventually. It just takes a lot of time with security control, and I know because I actually tested against my own deck, and it's rough, but you can win. You will win as long as you play it correctly and just continue to swarm and just keep hitting. Um, Against any other meta decks, maybe Agu Bond of Courage or Brave, whatever bravery. I call it Courage. Um, it's okay. You don't really care about your security most of the time because you have blockers. Aguban barely ever gets piercing, so even if they like delicate plan you or run stuff like delicate plan, it doesn't do anything. It's honestly not really that big of a threat. If they pop your Beelstar, it's like whatever. You can just bring it back next turn because they're gonna give you a lot of memory anyway. Because most builds I see actually run Magnadramon for healing, so they're giving you like 10 memories. So you're just gonna recover, kill their board, and then just keep swinging next turn, and they can't do anything about it. Um, Against other decks, I haven't really fought any other decks. Maybe Eosmon. I mean, I've seen some Eosmons running around. Eosmon is a weird deck, but honestly, I think this deck can just counter it pretty well. I'm actually still seeing some yellow decks. I've seen normal Lord Knights and Mastamon Dynasmon decks, and they're still not really that big of a threat. Lord Nightmon might put up a bit of a threat still because it can still plus really hard, just like Beelstar, it just pluses. But if you can get rid of their board or just kind of stall them into just kind of like keeping it and raising for a while, you'll basically get game. Um, any other day? Maybe Black Royal Knights, maybe because that's honestly I'm just kind of going off of the top of my head with meta decks. Black Royal Knights I've been seeing more often. It's not a hard counter. It is pretty rough when they get out Crania, but you can get around it usually thanks to honestly with the two Millennium Mons here, you should be good as long as you get it, and most of the time you will because black is all about stalling. Most builds I've actually seen people actually take out Jesmon, so they don't really have that like piercing option against you, so it's not as bad. Um, Aside from that, it has a pretty decent matchup no matter what, aside from freaking Jesmon, because Jesmon is just really disgusting of a deck, genuinely. Like I honestly can see why in Japan why it was so dominating because when it goes off, it just pops. Um, but yeah, no, this deck is really solid. For anyone that wants to try it out, the only issue is the Beal Stars. The Beal Stars will be what will kill you price wise. Millennium Mons and Zwarts and Cranias are actually really cheap right now, even with Crania going up in price to 5 right now. I think it might drop again. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's just to tech against Three Musketeers, but honestly, everything else aside from the Beal Stars are pretty chill in price. It's just getting the Beal Stars will be the main issue. But once you get them, your deck is super easy to play through. It's just a really fun deck, honestly. Um, I'm quoting a friend, but this deck is essentially Megazoo, but actually official and actually functions properly without it being a waste of memory half the time. This deck is essentially the type of deck I would honestly play because it doesn't require you to level up as much. You can level up, but it's not a requirement, which is why I play this deck because it doesn't require a level up in any possible way if you play it right. Um, Usually you're just warping, and that's not really that big of a deal because you're just evolving for one, so that's not a huge issue. It's honestly why I play this deck and security control. I've griped about it before in another video. I just honestly don't like the idea of decks essentially bricking and then you losing a crucial piece and not being able to basically win because of that. That's actually one reason why I feel like this deck, just Digimon in general, just needs more searching. Because with Yu-Gi-Oh, you can fish out anything, and then that basically wins you the match because of that. The game has a lot of this deck has a lot of searchers, same with like other decks like Jesmon and Gobblebon, but the problem is that if you get a bad hand, it's really hard to get past it. Most decks can get out of it, but it's just that idea of losing that one crucial piece, it can essentially screw you a lot in this game. But anyway, yeah, enough of my rant. Thanks for watching. Typical stuff, subscribe, like the video if you want. Not saying you have to, but just whatever. Um, Look out for my next video. I'm gonna do a few more deck profiles on most of the meta decks that I've built so far. And I've actually seen some success with them. Just in practice, not yet. This is the first deck I've actually topped with so far in BT6. So at least I know this deck works. So that's good enough for me. Anyway, see you guys next time. Oh, yeah.